Good morning. This is a continuation of the mind training of this Course in Miracles, offering to you the complete alternative in the idea that the new self of you is beginning to emerge in the particulars of your own mind. It's early in the morning here at the Academy, and I've come to be alone with myself. One of the fundamental teachings that we employ in our devices of conversion include the possibility that by continuing to examine your relationship, this is called meditation, isn't it? It's the idea that you could be by yourself for just a moment and begin to experience the wholeness of you that is a provision of your natural inheritance. And hopefully I am representing you very early in the morning now, sitting here as an entity of consciousness, demonstrating your innate capacity to have a bright experience of an alternative. We call that A Course in Miracles, isn't it? It's a systematic way that you are employing right now, sitting all alone with me early in the morning. Here I am. I look around and I say, here I am. But notice that I am having an experience of what we might even call a direct union with an alternative of whole mind based on this moment in time. Those of you who are not familiar with this Course in Miracles, this is a continuing practice of yourself, of your misidentity, of your ego, of yourself, to express the availability of an instant alternative that will show you the perfection of your own mind. And the progress that you are making is very evident. We're into the 90s now, aren't we? We just finished with the idea that you are perfect and whole as God created you. Now, we're going to tackle, and this is fundamentally a little difficult to begin with, your admission that whatever you are, there's only one of you. And whatever that is will be perfect as God created you. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Course, we're going to open, if you'll tolerate this, with just the first 3 lessons of this mind training. And they're going to direct you to how fundamentally you have accepted the idea that the you that you thought you were is not true. And that what you saw out there in the world was just a figment of your own imaginative unreality. And that you, in fact, didn't understand anything. And I hope you tolerate that just for a minute, because it may show you who are not accustomed to this presentation how this bright, new, continuing alternative was arrived at. So let's watch the first 3 lessons. So let's begin this mind training now with lesson number 1, which says, everything I see is meaningless. Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, or in this place means anything. Now look around you and let's begin immediately to practice what we're going to say. This table doesn't mean anything. This chair doesn't mean anything. This hand that I'm looking at, my hand, means nothing. My foot doesn't mean anything. This pen on the table doesn't mean anything. This lesson doesn't mean anything. Now let's look just a little further out away from us. Not immediately here, but in a more distant perspective. That door over there doesn't mean a thing. This body doesn't mean anything. That lamp doesn't mean anything. That sign over there, that doesn't mean anything. That shadow doesn't mean a thing. Here you are walking around saying nothing means anything. Notice that these statements are not arranged in any order and make no allowance for differences in the kind of things to which they're applied. This is the purpose of the exercise. The statement should merely be applied to anything you see. As you practice the idea for the day, use it totally indiscriminately. Do not attempt to apply it to everything you see, for these exercises should not become ritualistic. Only be sure that nothing you see is specifically excluded. One thing is like another as far as the application of the idea for today is concerned. The reason for that is very simply that nothing you see really means anything. Now let's go on to number 2. I have given everything I see in this room or on this street or from this window or in this place all of the meaning that it has for me. The exercises with this idea are the same as those for the first one. Begin with the things that are near you and apply the idea to whatever your glance rests on. Then increase the range outward. Turn your head so that you include whatever is on either side. If possible, turn around and apply the idea to what was behind you. Remain as indiscriminate as possible in selecting subjects for its application. Do not concentrate on anything in particular, and do not attempt to include everything you see in a given area, or you'll introduce strain. Remember, you've given everything you see all the meaning that it has. Glance around easily, fairly quickly. Try to avoid selection by size, brightness, color, material, or relative importance to you. Take the subjects simply as you see them. Try to apply the exercises with equal ease to a body or a button or a fly or a floor, an arm or an apple. The sole criteria for applying the idea to everything is merely that your eye has lighted on it. Make no attempt to include anything particularly, but be sure that nothing is specifically excluded. So you have the lesson number 2. You have given everything that you see all the meaning that it has. Now listen, lesson number 3. I do not understand anything that I see in this room or on this street or in this window or in this place. In fact, I don't really understand anything that I see anywhere. Apply this idea in the same way as the previous ones without making distinctions of any kind. Whatever you see becomes a proper subject for applying the idea. Be sure that you do not question the suitability of anything for application of the idea. These are not exercises in judgment, and anything that you see is suitable. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning to you. Try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. The point of the exercise is to help you clear your mind of all past associations, to see things exactly as they appear to you right now, and to realize how little you really understand about them. It is therefore essential that you keep a perfectly open mind, unhampered by judgment, in selecting the things to which the idea for the day is to be applied. For this purpose, one thing is like another, equally suitable and therefore equally useful. Just keep an open mind and admit that you do not understand anything that you see. So, nothing you see means anything. You have given it the meaning that it has, and you don't understand it. The progress that you are making would indicate that you have located within your own association with yourself a real, new, bright alternative to the ego of self-defense that previously identified yourself.